Peace and abundance, beautiful people. I'm Indiashed with Sacred Juju. So this been on my mind for almost a good 6 months or so. I guess after me really taking a look at the way our familiar structures are, especially after me living in a shelter for 3 months with single moms. I constantly see how certain cycles perpetuate itself, how they cause these habits to keep rolling around and never ending, basically, because let's be real, like, people get comfortable in where they're at and who they are and with whatever system chaos they found their life to be in, you know? And it's really up to when you are really ready to sit here and take a look at within yourself to really start breaking down certain, I don't even want to say structures, because it's not structure when you're living a life that's within chaos or struggle all the time. But you really have to start looking within yourself to really break down a lot of bad habits, question them, and then add in what good habits that you see yourself being able to adopt, so that way you can build up the structure. I will always say this, you'll constantly keep hearing me say this, but you'll constantly hear me say this, as within, so without. So if you within yourself are feeling unworthy, if you within yourself are feeling like you can't obtain a certain thing, or like you're not good enough to put towards these actions that you know are going to promote your growth, then you are definitely going to keep then you are going to keep creating a life of chaos, of imbalance. There's always going to be a struggle of you having to keep pulling from too much from here but not getting enough from here, you know. That just brings me to the point that we really have to get into not glorifying single parenthood. Yeah, but not glorifying, we have to stop glorifying single parenthood. You know, the whole trope of being a strong black mom, you know, handling it all, super mom, you know, super dad. It's all cool and great, like, but understand, like, we need that support. We need to have that community that's going to instill all the healthy elements that we're needing to be successful in this life. Like, we can't sit here and keep thinking that we're going to keep thriving on almost E, being almost mentally, emotionally exhausted, and still being able to pour from this cup that we have instilled in us, when that cup is barely even full itself. So how are you able to give to anybody else? You know, there are tons of single parents that have made it in some way, shape, or form. I will say their children grow up just as healthy, but in some way, shape, or form, if they are not being like a generational, like, breaker of certain habits and things like that, 9 times out of 10 that kid is going to sit here and suffer some type of mental, emotional blockages within itself as they get older, realizing that, because of this aspect, they had a missing parent, a missing mother, a missing father within their family structure, and they needed that. You know, that's one thing that we are starting to just have too much of within this world, is this imbalance. You know, the society runs off of us being imbalanced, and for us to sit here and thoroughly take, you know, charge of that and turn this around, we have to be the ones to take responsibility and say, enough is enough, you know. I'm going to start vetting my men properly so that I know that this person is going to be a good provider, is going to be a good father, is going to be a good person for me emotionally as I am for them. You know, I'm going to vet this woman properly and not run off of my sexual, you know, desires. Instead, going to actually look, does she have the habits to actually sit here and bring in children that are emotionally stable and secure and connected? Does she have the resources to pull together nurture-wise? You know, these are certain things that we have to start asking about ourselves. Like, is she going to be a liability or an asset? Is he going to be a liability or an asset to us? Instead, I just think a lot of us just run really off of a lot of unidentified trauma that we have. And that's how we ultimately end up in a lot of these horrible, toxic relationships that aren't feeding us, that are constantly hindering us, and they're not allowing us to move forward because we're hindering ourselves by not recognizing what we have to, how we play a part in that, what we're having to sit here and switch up and rebuild, you know. Being a single parent is not nothing to be proud of. I'm a single parent. I don't like being a single parent. I don't like not having a village to rely on. I understand situations happen, but like so many other people, we all were running off of trauma in doing this, you know, failed marriage, things like that. So, but I've learned over time and over experience that, you know, if there is not really nobody within the household that is teaching us how to properly vet people, situations, because there are 3 components to when we're needing like these thought strategies and things like that. If we're missing just one, like that decision could just not really, it won't be a good decision for us. But yeah, it just causes so much imbalance when we are in a single parent household, because you have the mother, you have the dad that is raising a child or children, and literally it's already hard enough with 2 parents raising kids, but with one, that responsibility of everything, the providing, the nurturing, the emotional stability, the parenting, teaching, strategizing, all that literally falls on that one parent. If that parent does not have strong men or strong women within their circle, within their community, that parent and those children are at a higher risk of falling into a lot of pitfalls that are going to cause them to run into these harmful cycles of joining the gang, of failing school, of, you know, running into trouble, and not learning how to like take accountability. Like, we really have to be aware about what it is that we're exposing ourselves to, who we're exposing ourselves to, as well as with our children as well. It really ultimately comes down to how are we making these decisions on a daily basis. What are we choosing? Are we choosing to grow and step into something new that may be unfamiliar to us, it may be uncomfortable to us, but it's different from us being here and being the same version of who I was and not changing, and all that's doing is just perpetuating the same cycles over and over and over again, because nothing is getting done about solving it, you know. Expose our children to a lot of different books, stay off the internet as much as you possibly can, like it's real life out here. And, you know, do your best to try to build friendships that are trustworthy. And like I said, I mean, you really won't be able to call that in until you start really deconstructing within yourself certain pieces of yourself that don't belong to you, you know, if that makes sense. Like, as we grow up, we constantly are picking up all these different pieces from other people, different ideas, ideologies, all that other stuff, but it's not internally, it's not us. So until you decide to break that down and rearrange it, find new things to put in place with that old thing you took out, then yeah, those will be the changes. But we definitely have to get out of this single parenting mindset. Like, no, we need the Holy Trinity together. We need the mom, we need the dad, we need 2-parent households. We have to have that structure and that balance, and like make sure that we are properly vetting who it is that we are allowing into our womb space, into our homes, into our children's environments. You know, this affects so much. And, you know, this may be an unpopular opinion or whatever, so I may get some scrutiny for it, and that's perfectly fine. I'm okay with that. I just, at this point in time, I can't condone being a single parent. I don't want to be associated with the title. I know that I am a single parent, but for me to sit here and keep holding on to that label, it's actually subconsciously locking me in to this certain stuck position that I don't want to be in, that I refuse to be in. So this is why I'm doing a lot of different habits and restructuring within myself, so that I can sit here and call in the things that I'm needing for my family and for myself, so that I know that I can sit here and move into a different way, you know. So yeah, I hope that this message received you all well. Comment down below how you feel about it, any opinions that you may have. All right, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. All right, peace.